Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Baseball, along with Paul O'Neill and John Flaherty. I'm Michael Kay. Another win for the Yankees yesterday. Incredibly, they've won 7 in a row, and those 7 games in a row have moved them up in the standings. So let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
15 years ago on this date, one of the darkest days in our country's history. But we move on as a resilient nation and enjoy the things that life provides, like baseball. And it is time for baseball as Hyundai presents the Sunday Game of the Week. Today, it's the New York Yankees against the Tampa Bay Rays in the final game of a 4-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with Paul O'Neill and John Flaherty. I'm Michael Kay. Another win for the Yankees yesterday. Incredibly, they've won 7 in a row, and those 7 games in a row have moved them up in the standings. So let's take a look at the Mazda standings. Driving matters. Take a look at the American League East. Yankees are 3 games out of first place. It's hard to believe. And the second wild card, Yankees now tied with the Tigers, just a game behind the Orioles for the second wild card. Yeah, this is all hard to grasp when the Yankees traded away so many good players right at the trade deadline. But, Paul, how do they keep this going?
Well, I think you come to the ballpark. You don't assume that it is going to continue. You have to go out. You have to play. You have to realize come Wednesday when this homestand is over, the scenery is going to change. You're going to have to go play some teams where they're comfortable at home. You have to finish this homestand out. These last 4 games, unbelievably important. But the numbers that you just showed, they can reach them.
I'll tell you what, the Yankees are going for a sweep of the Tampa Bay Rays. Let's take a look at the pitching matchup in this one. Pitching matchup brought to you by People's United Bank N.A. See what know-how can do for you. Matt Andriese will get the start for Tampa Bay. And for the Yankees, it's Luis Cessa. And, John, I'll tell you what, Cessa has really made a very smooth transition from the bullpen to the starting rotation.
Well, he really has. And if you think about the Yankees on this extended winning streak, it's all about starting pitching. And Cessa has done a nice job going from the bullpen to the rotation. The slider has been a better pitch for him as a starter, getting a little help from his defense. Joe Girardi loves his gunslinger mentality. We'll see if he can do that this afternoon.
So he'll try to make it 8 in a row, and the 7 games in a row, pretty incredible scenes. How have they done it? Veterans, rookies, we'll explore when we get back right here on Yes. brought to you in part by Hyundai. The latest lineup of cars and SUVs you'll find at your local Hyundai dealer aren't just new, they're better. By People's United Bank N.A., thumbs up for quick balance with Touch ID on your mobile phone. And by USAA Insurance, banking and investments tailored for the military community. Beautiful day here in New York City as the Yankees try to complete a 4-game sweep of the Rays. Logan Forsythe's ready. Luis Cessa is ready. And let's do it. Here in the Bronx, the first pitch is a strike, and we're underway. Chad Whitson, the home plate umpire. Mike Everett at first. Jordan Baker at second. Tim Timmons is at third. The 0-1. 1-1. We'll give you the lineups. We'll set you up with the pitchers and the defense as we move along here on this Sunday afternoon. Yankees looking for their 8th straight win. 1-2. And the pitch. Slow roller, third base line. If it stays fair, it's a hit, but it rolls foul. Let's take a look at the Rays lineup, and it starts with Forsythe, the second baseman. Kevin Kiermaier in center field will bat second. Hitting third, the third baseman, Evan Longoria. Brad Miller, the shortstop, cleans up. First baseman is Logan Morrison, batting fifth. Batting sixth, the left fielder, Nick Franklin. Corey Dickerson, the DH, at seventh. Hitting eighth, the right fielder, Steven Souza Jr. And Luke Maile will catch, and he's going to bat ninth. Rays are 59-82. Yankees coming at 76-65. First time 11 games over all year. Swing and a foul ball.
I'd like to see Cessa immediately. I mean, he's in the strike zone with everything. Two couple short sliders and back with a fastball.
And the 1-2. Grounded foul.
We saw this yesterday afternoon from Forsythe. I mean, he just fouls off tough pitch after tough pitch. And you're right, Paul. The fastball's been good. The slider for Cessa early on has been located perfectly. Forsythe just doing a good job spoiling some tough pitches.
4 for 12 in this series so far. The 1-2. Just missed outside. 2-2.
You know, yesterday he had the same kind of bat off Tanaka, and then all of a sudden, you know, Tanaka, as good as he was, the first and second inning, you know, he's close to 40 pitches, so it affected where he was at the end of the game.
Later on, sure.
Popped up, right field. Aaron Judge is right there, and he'll put it away for the first out.
Let's look at Luis Cessa and his numbers. Obviously, he's come out of the bullpen. It's going to be his 5th start, 4-0. The ERA just over 4. Let's take a look at our pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. A smooth transition to the rotation. 4 starts, 2-0. ERA just over 3, and he's maintained his fastball velocity at 94.5 miles an hour. One thing he's done as a starter more as a reliever, throwing more sliders. 33% as a starter throwing a slider.
Kevin Kiermaier takes low, brings a 13-game hitting streak into the game. Has his average over 252, or at 252. And he hits a fly ball to left center. Right there is Gardner. He'll put it away for the second out. Why don't we check out the Yankees defense presented by Geico. Gardner's in left, Ellsbury in center, and Judge over and right. In the infield, it's Headley, Gregorius, Torreyes, just a day off for Castro, and Teixeira at first. Sanchez behind the plate. Luis Cessa is on the mound. Here's Longoria, and a ground ball at third. Headley's there, and he'll put it away for the final out of the inning. An 11-pitch inning for Cessa. Rays nothing. And the New York Yankees coming to bat. Texas. The left fielder is Brett Gardner. He'll lead off. Batting second, playing center field, is the birthday boy, Jacoby Ellsbury. He turns 33 today. Gary Sanchez will catch. He'll bat third. Cleaning up the DH, Brian McCann. Mark Teixeira at first base will bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing shortstop, Didi Gregorius. Chase Headley at third base, bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing right field, Aaron Judge. And Ronald Torreyes gets to start at second base. He's going to bat ninth.
Well, that lineup for the Yankees, the final game of this series, going to face Matt Andriese. And you look at his numbers on the year, 6-7, 4.58 ERA. Let's take a look at our pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And he remembers the Baby Bombers well. Tyler Austin, Aaron Judge went deep against him in their first at-bats on August 13th. And since that start, it has been a bad stretch. Last 5 starts, 0-4 and 9.95 ERA. And he doesn't have great numbers against the Yankees. 0-2, 7.53 in 4 appearances. So a lot of numbers going against Mr. Andriese this afternoon.
Now the Rays have a 6-man starting rotation, and they didn't want to go to a 7-man. So the loose plan today is to have Andriese pitch 4 innings and then have Chase Whitley, who's coming back from Tommy John surgery, relieve him in the 5th. Again, it's the loose plan. It's not a hard and fast plan. There's a strike.
The loose plan.
Loose plan.
Yeah. Let's see how that works out for him.
Both Gardner and Ellsbury have been hot of late, and that does ignite an offense. Gardner is 7 for his last 20. Ellsbury 9 for his last 21.
Brett Gardner with a couple multi-hit games his last starts, and it just, you're right, Michael, it just sets everything up.
Ground ball is second. Forsythe is there. 1 away. Why don't we take a look at the Rays defense? And it's presented by Geico. You have Franklin in left, Kiermaier in center, and Souza is over and right. Infield, Longoria, Miller, Forsythe, and Morrison. That's third to first. Malley behind the plate, and Andriese on the mound.
Right away, you watch Andriese, and he's pitching out of the stretch. Obviously, he has had some time in the bullpen. He's had some starts, but going with the simpler delivery early on this afternoon.
During roll call, when it was time to call Jacoby Ellsbury's name, bleacher creatures instead kept saying happy birthday. So celebrating his 33rd at the yard, the 0-1. Ellsbury getting hot, 4-game hitting streak. I mentioned the 9 for 21. Hit a big home run yesterday. Broke a scoreless tie, made it 2-0 Yankees. Ground ball up the middle. Nice play by Forsythe, and he gets Ellsbury. That's an outstanding play by the second baseman. Hey, let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 82 degrees. It's 41% humidity. The wind is 14 miles per hour. It's partly cloudy and clearing. And here is really the amazing Gary Sanchez. Home run yesterday. That was into the bullpen in left center, and then really did an eye-opening thing on what was supposed to be the first pitch of an intentional walk. He stayed in the batter's box and drove one to the wall for a sacrifice fly. There's a strike.
Now, I didn't hear, did he know they were trying to intentionally walk him? Or
I
just
forgot. I was down there talking to him, and I said, you know, I'm not superstitious or anything, but I talked to you the last couple of days. You've hit home runs both days, so I just kind of smiled and talked to him, and he did too. But I meant to ask him that, and I forgot.
Meredith did. Meredith, did he know?
He did know that, and there was actually a situation when he was in Seattle when he was intentionally walked and they felt like there was a pitch that he could maybe hit that was left a little bit close to the plate, and somebody talked to him about that, and he said, I will never have that situation happen to me again. I'm going to make sure I'm ready, and that's what you saw right there. Obviously, a pitch kind of creeping back over the middle of the plate. Gary Sanchez puts a swing on it and almost gets a home run out of the deal, guys.
Wow. Yeah, Joe Girardi said the thing about Sanchez is if you tell him something once, never again do you have to tell him. The 1-2.
That's just jumped out at me what Meredith was saying. I'll never let that happen to me again, and he didn't. I would have rolled that ball right over to third base. Nice little ground ball.
So you're pretty confident in
my slow pitch softball swing? Yeah.
2-2. Grounded through the hole. They had him shifted. They had 3 infielders on the left side, so Sanchez picks up a 2-out single.
Wow, it's so cool to see a young kid that just really knows how to play the game and everything's going his way. You're behind in the count, and all of a sudden you look to the right side, nobody's home.
He's going to continue to talk to you before these games. Base hits, home runs.
After this next series, we're going to have to do it by text.
A little Skype.
Yeah.
Do a little Skype.
Yeah, a little FaceTime. There we go.
Reached base safely 24 of his last 25 games. One more note about that sac fly. Darren Willman of MLB.com said the sac fly by Sanchez is the biggest differential this year between the pitch velocity and the exit velocity on any pitch this season. Came in at 51, went out at 100 miles per hour. So 49 miles per hour difference.
You know what else is amazing? That anybody in their right mind would even think of that. The biggest pitch velocity, exit velocity. Like, really? How do we even think of these things? I mean, 51, that's below knuckleball speed right there.
The 0-2 fouled away.
As they did with Gary Sanchez, if you look to the left side of the infield this time, Evan Longoria almost over to the hole at shortstop. A lot of the left side open. Drive a truck through this area.
The 0-2, 1-2. Boston has jumped out to a 1-0 lead against Toronto, bottom of the first inning. That's in Toronto. Still 1-2.
You think of Andres, he's fastball, changeup, cutter, curveball. In that order, will throw his fastball 46% of the time, changeup 25%, a lot of cutters, occasional curveballs. He's thrown his curveball a little bit here in the first inning, a little bit more than I thought he would.
Last couple pitches down and away, the changeup. It's good movement with that.
Laced into left center field. It's a base hit. Franklin fields and gets it in as Sanchez stops at second. So a base hit for McCann.
You know, that's an adjustment right there. McCann, I mean, you're looking at the left side. I mean, he stayed inside that ball much more than he usually does and kind of pushes it that way. It's a hard pitch to stay on top as high as it was in the strike zone.
Well, you love the fact the Yankees applying some pressure with 2 outs, and we've talked about it for 3 games. Tampa Bay's not going anywhere. You get an early lead, you can kind of put them to sleep a little bit. The way the Yankees won yesterday, just a very nice offensive game, well pitched, tough to sweep 4-game series, but at this point in the year you got to have this one.
Yeah, you're just down to winning today. It's easy to say.
Teixeira with a high fly ball left field. Franklin is there and makes the play for the final out. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We're going to go to the second. 0-0 here on Yes. Toyota. RAV4 Hybrid is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. What has led the Yankees during their season-high 7-game winning streak? Dougie NYY fan says the perfect mix of youthful exuberance and veteran leadership. Sounds like this booth. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag YankeesRAV4 Hybrid. Keep the conversation going.
They throw us under the bus early. It's all right.
No.
I was just going to tell Flash in the last inning, you know, where these hard game, 4-game series for the team. They're hard for us, too. We're out of ammo. We've used a lot of material to get to game 4 here. So we got to kind of.
That's where you sit back and you let the game come to you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's try that.
Sitting back right now.
The 0-1 to Miller. Foul ball. He didn't know where it was, as it was well fouled behind him.
It's that good changeup from Sessa right there. And, you know, some of the numbers since he's gone into the rotation, I mentioned throwing his slider a lot more than he did as a reliever. This is such a good pitch because he's got great arm speed and the finish down and away. He throws it like 9% of the time. I'm thinking that might be more of a weapon down the road.
One of those pitches, when you start using them more, you know, say you play Boston and then you play them and you get them back-to-back starts, and you're able to add another pitch a little bit more, and you're going to have that because you're going to be playing the American League East after this Dodgers series pretty much for the whole year.
Miller strikes out. He's now 0 for his last 16, 1 away.
He's throwing his slider more because he has a good one lately, and this is nasty. Down and in. Miller misses it by a ton, and you think back to the pitch before. Sanchez calls an elevated fastball, then you come right back with the slider down in the dirt for the swing and miss.
There's so many swing and misses down out of the strike zone yesterday with Tanaka. I wonder if you know, that's kind of the weak spot for the Rays. She got to get to that 2-strike count to use it, right?
There's a strike. One and two.
You know, as good as his breaking ball is, and we talk about his changeup, his fastball is just good enough to you know, to get by up in the strike zone, in on the inside corner at 94. I mean, that's plenty. You don't really have to do anything more than that.
Isn't it funny though? There are some pitchers that throw 94, 95, but it looks like hitters see it so early that it plays about 88, 89. You watch Sessa and his fastball, 94, 95, but it's getting by some. So he obviously hides it, has some deception.
I used to wonder that a lot about Evaldi. And even when Severino was in the starting rotation, when he was, you know, you'd see that fastball 3 and 4 times in a count where guys were hitting 97 hard, and it didn't make sense. But you're right, you just see the ball a little bit better.
See the breakdown of pitches, difference between relieving and starting for Sessa. Swing and a miss. Morrison down on strikes.
Just a good changeup. I mean, you set these up, and you know, it's not just the lack of velocity, it's the movement and the arm speed across his body, which gets that ball going away from a lefty. I feel like catching again, don't you, Flash?
I'd be calling that pitch a lot more than Sanchez is doing, and obviously Sanchez doing a great job. But that is a weapon, that changeup.
Franklin takes low, 1-0.
Boy, I watch Sanchez, I watch Sessa. You know, the sign gets put down and Sanchez moves. They're in such a great rhythm, and obviously they worked in AAA together. They are on the same page early on.
Line drive. There's a base hit to right field. Judge will get it in. So a 2-out single for Franklin. That's the Rays' first base runner.
thing you do see in Cessa is how quick he works too. He gets the ball season, and it's just right. But after we've seen a couple games here where you're talking 30 seconds in between every pitch, it makes the pace of the game so slow.
Here's Dickerson. He's had a good series, 4 for 8. He has a really vicious backswing. He's gotten Brian McCann a couple of times, and I'm sure that McCann has relayed that to Sanchez, who's setting up back a little bit.
Remember that series we did early? He got McCann 2 or 3 times in the same series.
Ripped to right field. Turning and looking is Judge. See ya. A home run for Dickerson, and it's 2-0 Rays.
This pitch he's got really high in the strike zone today, and that's the one thing. Cessa has given up some home runs. And you got to realize that your offense has been hot. Close the book on that one. Get your outs. Let them get back.
See Sanchez, he's setting up like he wants it to be elevated, and it was. I mean, that is an impressive swing by Dickerson to get on top of a fastball that's elevated a little bit. Not easy to do.
Pitch to Souza is outside. One and one.
You're just talking about the big backswing, and Souza got a piece of Sanchez on that one. Wow. The helmet.
I mean, McCann, I remember that last series, didn't even make a gesture, and Sanchez either. Did that used to irritate you a little bit as a catcher?
Well, it's irritating, but I think you're just thankful that all of a sudden you don't see the black spots and you're getting dizzy. Obviously, it could be a lot worse.
I asked McCann, he said it's my fault.
Yeah.
He said I should know and I should set up farther back. 1-2. Strike 3. Souza down looking. So Cessa strikes out 3 Rays, but also gives up a 2-run home run. As we go to the bottom of the second, it's 2-0 Tampa Bay. League matchup. The first 18,000 guests in attendance are going to receive a Yankees knit cap, courtesy of WFAN. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. We go to the bottom of the second, and Didi Gregorius will dig in. He's hitless in his last 11 at-bats, 3 for his last 23. There's a strike. Toronto has tied up the Red Sox 1-1, top of the second inning. That's at Rogers Center in Toronto. The Blue Jays got swept here by the Yankees. Then the first game of the series against the Red Sox, they lost that one big to Porcello. And before the game yesterday, they had a meeting. And don't know if the riot act was read by John Gibbons, but a friend of mine was at the game and said that they came out with a fire in their eyes. They won the game, and this one's 1-1 in the second inning.
It's one of those team meetings that actually worked.
Yeah.
There are some of those team meetings that just are more annoying than.
Sometimes they take a few days to work.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with having meetings, but you go out and just get it handed to you that night. It's just like, wow, that didn't work.
Fouled away.
Well, Michael, you mentioned some of the offensive numbers for Didi and slowing down a little bit here. And I was thinking about it driving home last night. It's got to be so tough for Girardi, right? I mean, he's so good in the field defensively, kind of anchors your infield, but struggling a little bit offensively. So where do you give him a day when these games are so important? It's just so tough. Made some great defensive plays yesterday and didn't do much at the plate.
Sure. Torreyes has really filled in. He gave Headley yesterday, Castro today. Who knows, Didi might get one coming up here against the Dodgers. But you're right. I mean, where do you say, you know, these games are just too important to bring my shortstop out?
High pop up and out of play.
Sometimes those are, you talk about team meetings, those are player, you know, Joe Torre call you in and say, hey, how do you feel? And you got to be honest. Yeah, I need a day or I don't, I'm fine. And sometimes that's enough.
Fly ball. Shallow left. Franklin makes the play. Did you ever tell Torre I need a day? Really?
I was just thinking the same thing.
No, not really. But it was
even when you did.
It was enough to have that meeting, and you know he would say you need a day. No, I'm good. He said, you know, I see you're a little tired, but you know I think your swings look good. I think you're fine. And sometimes when you walked out of the office, it's like, you know what, that was enough. That was almost like my just enough to pump you up and get going again.
Headley fouls one off.
Or enough to scare you that, like, you know, he's concerned he might be benching me here soon.
Better have a good day.
Well, you hear those stories that you always tell. He seems like a master psychologist. He really knew how to push the right buttons for each player.
That is the key to not a good manager, but great managers. And you know, you've got 25 guys on a roster, and you don't treat them all the same. And it's just, you got to know who and how to push the buttons on all of them.
I thought he was a master at the team meeting, or lack thereof, the team meeting. You know, I can remember in the 3 years that I played for him, maybe 4, 5, and only one of those was negative. All the other ones were, you're the Yankees, you're champions, you're going to be fine.
Tell you what, there was nothing better than the team meeting on opening day, right before. And right before the playoffs. Yep. I used to almost look forward to even just the meeting more than the scouting reports, anything. It's like, you know, what's Skip going to say today? This is going to be awesome. Get my seat, get comfortable.
Now, did he ask a player to talk during those meetings also?
Once in a while, yeah. And a lot of times, you know, it didn't come out with much, but it brought everybody in that, you know, the players were talking also.
Is it true, Paul, that before the game in 7 and 2001, that Gene Monahan gave a stirring speech before the game?
You know, yeah, and it shows you the camaraderie of team when you know, guys like Gene Monahan, Stevie Donahue, Robbie Kakuza, that they were involved as much as the guys that were running out on the field. I mean, it does become a small group kind of family when you think of 30, 35 guys going through the whole season together, day in and day out.
1-2. Headley really putting together a good at bat. 2-2. Well, looks like that Toronto meeting just ran out of juice because the Red Sox put a 3 spot up in the second. They lead 4-1. I remember when I covered the Knicks, Jeff Van Gundy once told me, he said, never have a pregame meeting before the Lakers are coming to town.
Yeah, makes you look like a dumb coach, doesn't it?
And in baseball, you usually have a team meeting before a good pitcher goes.
#1 guy.
Three-two. Off of Andres, Karam's out, over to the shortstop, and the play is made for the second out. Here are the early scores. We told you Boston leads 4-1. Baltimore and Detroit 0-0, bottom of the second. Starting a little bit later, Kansas City White Sox, Seattle and Oakland on the coast, and the Cubs visit Houston for the Sunday night game.
Good at bat for Headley. 10 pitches, hits it hard, and has absolutely nothing to show for it.
That's one. We've had a couple of those balls off the pitcher right to the second baseman this series. As a hitter, man, that's frustrating.
I thought it had gone to Miller. It had actually gone, as Paul said, the second baseman. So score that 1-4-3 as Forsythe made the play. Here's Judge. High pop up and out of play.
Aaron Judge a little more aggressive right there. First pitch fastball, letting it fly. Good for him.
Thinking that the other day when he starts taking strikes, this is the kind of guy you want to give 3 good swings every at bat. If you strike out, because you'll run into 30 or 40. I'm as strong as he is. But like that, when you start taking a lot of pitches, you're cutting your chances down of squaring one up.
I think if you're Aaron Judge, you pick that spot in the zone that you know you can do damage, and if it's in there, you have to put it and play hard.
1-2.
And as soon as we say that, you don't want to become overly aggressive, because that's a pitch right there that you can't do anything with. And
I guess my point is, it's a young player learning the strike zone and the discipline, right? Looking for a spot, and if it's in there, you let it fly. If not,
swing and a miss. Judge down on strikes. Yankees go down in order, 1-2-3. We're going to the third here at the stadium. It's Tampa Bay 2 and the Yankees nothing. All right, we go to the third inning. It's 2-0 Rays over the Yankees. Luke Maile will start it off against Luis Sessa. First pitch, ground ball to short. Nice play by Gregorius. He does the 360. One away. The most popular way to follow the Yankees postseason push is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Get MLB.com at bat on your favorite devices now. If, in fact, you are scoring at home, I was correct. It was to the shortstop Miller, so they changed it. So if you're keeping score, it's 1-6-3 on the Headley ground ball. So you might want to correct your scorecard, Paul.
I was just going to say, while you two are busy at work, I'm just sitting here fuming because you just had to throw me under the bus again, right out in front of the public.
There's a strike. 0-2.
Well, one thing we've learned from Luis Sessa, he gives up the 2-run home run. He comes right back out here in the third inning, pounding the strike zone.
And Forsythe down on strikes.
Throwing strikes, working fast, and he has that good fastball in the mid-90s. Back to the outside corner just a little bit. Gotta love the aggressiveness.
You see young pitchers, they give up a home run early and they kind of get gun shy. You just love to see guys, all right, it's over with. I'm going to still come after people, still throw strikes.
Probably the toughest thing to scout about a young pitcher, right? I mean, you can be a scout behind the screen, velocity, breaking ball. You evaluate all of his pitches, but how does he react during a game?
Fly ball left field. Long run for Gardner. He slides and he can't make the play.
Long run there with the shift in the outfield. Brett Gardner will be loose now.
Paul, were you playing when the warning tracks, some of them were like gravel? Much rougher than they are now?
I was going to say that's usually the hardest part of the field, the slide. So when you know you're going to slide, you know you're going to get torn up going into the. It's just the way it is.
Kiermaier strikes out. Nice bounce back inning for Sessa, who has five strikeouts in 3 innings. By clean, crisp Coors Light. Best record since August 1st. That's the day The trade deadline, and the Yankees have the second best record in baseball. The Cubs are first at 27-10, Yankees 24-13, tied with the Royals, Rangers right behind, and then the Nationals.
Well, other than the Royals, every one of those teams.
Playoff teams.
Playoff teams, right?
And the Royals are trying. Here's Ronald Torreyes, batting ninth, playing second today. Jumps on the first pitch and fouls it away.
Torreyes, you just love the way he plays. He just comes out with energy. He's just like bopping around the field, making the plays, up to the plate, doesn't take any time, just swings. I think you said yesterday, Flash, just a great role player for the team.
Yeah, perfect.
Two 2-0 Tampa Bay.
It was one of those things that was nice and refreshing when I finished my career with the Yankees and you have a winning team and you looked around the bench at all the guys that you were bench players with, and I was a backup player. They were all just guys who didn't complain. They knew their job. They were happy to be there.
It's a hard line drive to left. Franklin makes the play.
And you get that feeling from Torreyes, you know, that, hey, whatever you need. I'm not going to complain when I don't play. When I do play, I'm going to be ready, and I'm going to hit a bullet to left field.
A line drive yesterday that went for nothing. You know, looking back at role players that were part of the team that made the team more fun. We had Homer Bush, Clay Bellinger, guys that just, you're right, they didn't have attitudes because they weren't out there every day.
Well, you know it from a teammate perspective, but how about Joe Torre and the coaching staff? They know they didn't have to worry about these guys, right? I mean, they were low maintenance. They weren't going to complain. They weren't going to cause any trouble, and you trusted they were going to be ready to go when called upon.
Hey, let's face it, you can make a pretty good living now being a great role player on a good team. You know, you get up here and think that you should be out there every day. You complain kind of through the wrong lines, and you'll find yourself back to AAA or another organization. Managers don't want to hear it. No.
You know what they say? If you're supposed to be an everyday player, you will be somewhere.
Yeah.
Two and one.
Bringing back nightmares of Homer Bush when I used to see him trot out onto the field, pinch running.
He scored a run every time, like it was a game-winning run. Every time he touched the field, he did something.
You know, as a catcher, when you have 56,000 people at the old Yankee Stadium, knowing he's running, he's going to steal second, he's going to steal third, how much pressure that was? Oh, what a weapon he was.
Two and two. Gardner grounded to second in the first. And the pitch. Driven the other way. Franklin back, still back, and it's over his head, and it'll roll to the wall. Gardner has himself a double.
We've seen some funny routes on the Rays left fielders to this point, but you know, you'll never complain as a left-handed hitter. Gardner kind of slaps it to left field and gets up in that sun and that air. And you see he came in first and then couldn't catch up to it.
That'll bring up Jacoby Ellsbury, and we take a look at the G. Pitter scouting report.
Well, I don't even know if I should read this, Michael, because you pretty much took it all, right?
How did I take it all?
You peeked over here at all my plugs.
Oh, my goodness.
Happy birthday. He turns 33 today. He is the spark plug in the second hole. Last 11 games hitting .375 and an uptick on power. 4 home runs in the last 19 games. Only 1 home run in the previous 58. So things go well. And Ellsbury swings the bat.
I did not have the power aspect. That was big.
That's because I had the card folded. You couldn't see the third point. Covering my sheet tomorrow.
Do it. Well, Leiter will be here. You have no chance. The 0-1.
You get to speak about the 4th or 5th inning, you'll do your G. Pitter scouting report.
I was gonna say, usually dinner's right before the game. You can eat all the way up to the 5th when Leiter's here.
It's all according to how much candy he brings. If he's got Twizzlers and M&Ms, then you know you have no chance.
Boom.
Sugar rush. A little Mountain Dew on the side really gets him going.
Good luck, guys.
The 0-2. 1-2.
We talk about Ellsbury and Gardner, how important they are. I mean, looking up at the board, the Yankees are 11-1 when Ellsbury and Gardner each have multiple hits in the same game, and winning each of the last 8 such games. So it just goes to show you when this offense just works. It is just like full bore. When the top of your lineup works.
Well, this is recently. Last 16 games, Ellsbury hitting .328, Gardner .308. Three and two. Gardner leads off second. And the payoff. Fly ball, left center. Franklin makes the play. Gardner tags, draws the throw. 2 away. Yankees are going the other way against Andrews. That's going to bring up Gary Sanchez.
Well, Millie talking it over with. You got to believe Gary Sanchez was the main focus of that conversation before the game on game planning. 2 outs, first base open. The lefty Brian McCann on deck, so he offers some protection.
John, do you sense that there's been an inordinate amount of mound conferences for all teams this year?
Yeah, I agree.
Why do you think it is?
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, obviously you want to make sure you're on the same page with the runner at second base and signs. Sometimes you'll change that so you go out and talk, but I think this situation is more about the man standing next to the plate and how they want to attack him or stay away from him. You wonder if that's going to be something moving forward that Major League Baseball is going to pay attention to.
I have a theory. There's so much information now to disseminate that you're going out and talking about everything because you've got more information than you've ever had before.
Good point.
Oh and 2. Sanchez single through the right side. That was in the first inning. So he's 1 for 1. Hitting .349. The 0-2, swing and a miss, and Sanchez down on strikes. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We'll go to the 4th. It's Tampa Bay 2 and the Yankees nothing. Brought to you by T-Mobile. We take a look at some of the AL East Yankee killers. Evan Longoria, who's leading off, is one of them. Then you have Bautista and Encarnacion on the Blue Jays. David Ortiz, obviously, and Mark Trumbo, as Longoria fouls one away. Trumbo just 43 games. The other guys have a real large sample size. The biggest sample size, that of Ortiz.
It's an all-star team, though. Nobody snuck onto that list. Those are big names.
Audi scoreboard, 2-0 Tampa Bay. Fly ball, shallow right. Judge makes the play.
Well, that's a play right there. Torreyes better keep his ears open. That's not one battle he wants to fight, is colliding with Judge.
Tight end coming across the middle.
Oh, he might be able to just run right through his legs. A little overmatched there, think, Michael?
Almost like a father-son game. That's the beauty of baseball, though. Torreyes can perform and do well in the big leagues, no matter what his height. Woo. 1-1. Popped up behind the plate and over the screen.
Flesh, when you're in the outfield, ball's hit over your head, you usually have kind of a feeling, whether if it's out or if you got a chance. As a catcher, when that ball's hit behind you, you're flipping your helmet, you're pretty much clueless at that point, right?
Well, I think initially you have a feeling that this is going to be in play or out of play, but then all of a sudden you start thinking about the swirling winds. What stadium am I playing in? I'm not familiar with it.
Right.
And so you really got to make sure and never give up on a play. That was the biggest adjustment going on the road, the pop-ups. You know, if the wind and the flags are blowing out, it doesn't necessarily mean that the ball is going to come back to the field because of the swirling winds. So
I thought Fenway, the wind affected the ball more than any other ballpark.
Really?
Yeah, because of the
it
low
doesn't
stands.
have the third deck, yeah.
You would walk over and think that ball's out, and the wind would blow it back in. Easy pop fly to Brett Gardner, but you know, some big stadiums, the wind doesn't really affect it, but the lower ones, Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, it's just like the wind can actually just drift the ball back into play.
Yeah, I had a bad moment at Wrigley Field on a pop-up with Robin Ventura at third. I thought it was a routine play for him. It came all the way back to home plate, and I wasn't ready for it, and dropped right in front of me, and David Wells was pitching, and he wasn't real happy. A lot of good memories in Chicago. That's not one of them.
Morrison takes outside.
Michael's got a lot of memories in Chicago, too.
Love
It's your
Chicago.
town, right?
Love Chicago. Well, you're involved in one of my worst memories in Chicago.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And?
It's when I was single, John. And he knows who my favorite is, and he's staying in a hotel. And at the end of the series, he goes, "You know who was staying in the hotel? Jennifer Aniston." Didn't tell me.
No way.
No, of course he wasn't staying in my hotel.
You know what? She walked by me like I had two heads. She had no clue. Like, if she would have said hello or something, I would have dropped the Michael K on her.
No, I didn't need you to talk to her, but I needed you to tell me that she was there so I could lurk.
Before she checked out or something?
Yes.
So you were just going to, like,
lurk.
Put on the long jacket and the Humphrey Bogart hat and just stalk the hotel?
Yes.
All right, nice. I'm glad I didn't tell you at this point. I might have escorted you to the police station.
Would have gotten her attention, though.
Yeah. There's another wacko was stalking me.
John, that trip, I think we were at the Motel 2. And Paul was in one of the best hotels in Chicago.
Yeah, I was going to go there, but
Right.
I didn't know if this is a story you wanted to get into, Paul. Why were you staying at a different hotel?
Because my wife made the reservations. I had nothing to do with it. I think the Motel 2 was booked. It was.
Let's see, I think something's up with Morrison in the swing. Trainer quickly out to take a look. There's anything happening there.
There's the reaction to some pain.
Sometimes when you're out, on his hand, yeah. Oh, that's that hamate thing that you always fear. There's a tiny bone in your hand, almost like a hook, and then sometimes when you swing, just hope not, but you kind of chip off.
Well, that'll do it for Morrison.
Well, no soon enough. There's X-ray machines and everything here at Yankee Stadium, but that's such a freak accident because you can take hundreds and thousands of swings, no problem. That's just one awkward swing.
It didn't look that awkward, right? I mean, it wasn't like he was fooled and way out in front. Look from the side, way off the plate, got it deep a little bit, fouled it off. I agree with you. I don't like where he's grabbing there in that left wrist.
Matt Noakes did that once, and he told me it's just this sharp burning sensation. He broke that little hamate bone, and it takes a long time, and I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's a possibility. And he just said it's just a burning sensation, and you just, it takes time to recover.
Now you feel for Morrison, but it's kind of hard to believe here that you can't find a pinch hitter. It's gonna be Mikey Matuk, but my goodness, I mean, you're waiting here 4 minutes for them to send a pinch hitter up. Morrison left the field already.
Mikey Matuk was getting a little cup of coffee, right, hanging out, thinking, all right, I might be ready later on. He wasn't expecting it to be in the 4th inning.
So there was nobody ready on the bench.
But this is Morrison's at bat.
Yes,
if he strikes out, you get a whiff right here, and it's along with the hurt hand, you get a strikeout too.
So they waited and went down everybody, the least likely to strike out for Morrison.
No, but if Matuk gets a hit here, then he gets the hit. So Morrison's kind of in a no-win situation right here.
And he's getting an X-ray.
Yeah, he's on the way to the X-ray machine.
So here's Matuk. He takes over a 2-2 count and a ground ball. So Matuk gets the ground ball, and that will do it. And the Rays go down in order 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's 2-0 Tampa Bay. as the Yankees welcome the Dodgers back to New York for a 3-game set. Coverage starts at 6 with Audi batting practice today and the Chevy pregame. And then Al Leiter joins Paul and me for the call right here on Yes and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
It's funny you think about the interleague matchups, but anytime you see that Dodgers uniform running around in Yankee Stadium, it just takes you back to, it takes you back to the World Series. I saw Reggie Jackson today. It takes you back to that World Series.
And the last time they met in the World Series, 1981. All the times they met, Subway Series, when the Dodgers were in Brooklyn. McCann grounds one over to first, one away. So Franklin has taken over at first. And Matuk now is in left as Morrison has left the game.
Take a second look at that scouting report, Flash. On a bad roll here. Andres has really turned it up here. The Yankees having trouble getting runners. Having trouble getting a run, obviously.
Audi scoreboard, 2-0 Tampa Bay. Here's Teixeira. You wonder, that loose plan they have, if he continues to pitch this well, would they go to Chase Whitley? Strike. High fly ball, right field. Souza back on the track. He's there and makes the play.
Remember those swirling winds we were just talking about? If you're Mark Teixeira, you hit that fly ball right there, and you know you didn't get it. You're hoping for a little bit of help.
Just has that little extra carry because you really don't have to hit it that great to this part of the ballpark. Usually the hitter knows.
Here's Didi. That is an easy inning for Andres. Miller makes the play, and the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3. We'll go to the 5th. 2-0 Tampa Bay. Again.
Yes, it did.
So Toronto is up. Here's the American League East right now. The Blue Jays are game behind the Red Sox. Orioles 2 back, and the New York Yankees just 3 back. Luis Cessa's made one mistake, a 2-run home run to Corey Dickerson as we go to the 5th. And there's a strike to Ryan Franklin.
One thing that's really jumped out to me with Sessa and the Cadillac scoreboard, Yankees trailing 2-0, is how quickly he is working as a starting pitcher.
Base hit, left field.
19 seconds in between pitches as a starter. As a reliever is about 22.5, so he's definitely picked up the pace and kind of taken that reliever's mentality, pounding the strike zone more as a starter. Results have been good. Trailing today, one bad pitch. I think the Yankees have to be very, very happy with what they've seen from Sessa.
So here's Dickerson. Franklin with 2 outs, singled in the second, and then Dickerson hit the 2-run home run. Now Franklin leads off with a single. Oh, 0-1.
Stayed on top of that high one. Let's try low and away. It's always funny to see how pitchers and catchers adjust to a guy that just hit a home run.
I always love those pitchers when they say, you know what, don't throw the high fastball because he can turn it around, and they always, well, he hasn't seen my high fastball yet. You can throw it up there, just make sure it's a little bit further out of the zone.
Grounded to short. There's one on to first. Not in time. Nice scoop by Teixeira.
Well, I tell you what, that's three good spots this play. A good backhand by Didi. Good throw to Reyes, moving with the shift all the way back. And a good pick by Teixeira. A lot of good things happened there.
I was just thinking one out. A lot of moving parts. Everybody moving away from the plays. Torreyes coming across the bag, gets something on it. You always know Mark Teixeira will be able to take care of the pick on the other end.
Here's Steven Souza Jr. Runner goes, and Souza fouls it back.
A little old school hit and run. You just don't see it all that often.
And these are the type of things that you do, especially when you have a lead. And Cash has not had that opportunity a lot.
I guess I wouldn't think of Steven Souza Jr. as a great hit and run guy. Has all the power with the 16 home runs, but good job of protecting Dickerson right there, fouling it off.
Oh, 0-2. The 0-2. Fly ball left field. Gardner's there and puts it away. 2 down. And that brings up Maley. Nothing Tampa Bay. Each team with 3 hits. Sessa has a pretty good pitch count, 62, with 2 outs in the 5th. Ball gets past Sanchez as Dickerson moves to second. Today's pitch count brought to you by the Acura Summer of Performance event. So we'll break down the 63. 11 in the first. He had a 19-pitch second inning, 16-pitch fourth inning. But when you have a 9-pitch third, Keeps the pitch count low. He's got 48 strikes to 15 out of the strike zone.
Well, now got a little meeting here, Flash, huh?
There you go. Runner at second base.
All of a sudden, it becomes a little more important. We talked to Sessa a few minutes the other day on the field. His father was in town, and some folks from home, and I don't know if they stayed for his start, but you could just see how excited they were to be in Yankee Stadium. It's just neat to see.
One and one to the Rays catcher. Top of the 5th inning, it's 2-0 Tampa Bay. Breaking ball strike. 1-2.
A little bigger breaking ball there. Kind of buckled in there. He's throwing that sharp little slider. I agree, Flash. I mean, he's got a few pitches he can use his weapons. He's used that changeup well.
And the 1-2. Just missed outside.
It's supposed to look like a strike on the outside corner and then move off the plate, and it does both of those things. Sanchez trying to bring it back, doesn't get the call. But you love the 1-2 execution just off the plate.
Two. Ground ball is short. Didi. And that'll do it here in the 5th. No runs to hit, no errors, and one man left on base. Bottom of the 5th coming up. And on the Cadillac scoreboard, it's Tampa Bay 2 and the Yankees nothing. Chase Headley will lead off against Matt Andriese, who's pitched very well, holding the Yankees to 3 hits and no runs over the first 4 innings. And there's a strike. Headley had a long at bat in the 2nd and hit one off of Andriese, but it caromed out to Miller on the right side of the infield. 1-6-3. First 16 batters, Andriese started them off with strikes 14 times. So 14 of 16. The 0-2. Drive right field. Going back Souza. Track. Wall. See ya. A home run. Headley. The Yankees are on the board. And the Rays lead by a score of 2-1.
It's good to see Chase Headley have a couple good at-bats. First at-bat up the middle off the pitcher. Now a quick little swing inside, just enough to get it out of here. Get the Yankees on the board and in this game. Not really a bad pitch, just kind of brought his hands in just enough to get the barrel of the bat on it. Just better hitter than better pitching there. It just, you know, that's a good way of hitting. It's just kind of quicken that swing up by bringing your hands in.
Aaron Judge swings and misses.
What I loved about that, when Chase Headley got to home plate and was making his way to the dugout, he's clapping his hands to everybody like, come on, let's go. And that was a veteran guy enjoying this right now.
Yeah, you can't get flat. You got to realize, you know, again, you're playing Tampa Bay. You're getting a well-pitched game. It's 2-1. You're on a roll. You just can't, hey, you know, we've played well. It'll happen. You got to make it happen sometimes.
Fly ball. Right side. Souza runs out of room. You know, because he had a real bad start, and you'll see what John's talking about right there. It almost seems like Headley's become a punching bag for some Yankee fans. He's had a really good year. After an awful April, he's done very well in the field, much better than last year. He's gotten some big hits, and he has done a nice job at third base. Shift is on for Judge. Longoria deep at third, close to the line. And he hits it through the shift. A base hit for Judge.
Well, if you're Joe Girardi, you kind of hold your breath when he goes through these streaks, striking out, striking out. You just like to see, you know, good contact, just enough. Got a hanging slider there, and he hammers it just enough that you know his confidence isn't getting shattered.
You know, when you watch him, I don't see anything body language wise that tells me anything, right? You know, it seems like he carries himself like, I'll be okay, which is very unusual for a young player. Usually you can see it in their face, you can see it in the way they carry themselves.
They have a wild battle going on north of the border. Now the Red Sox have tied Toronto up 6-6 in the top of the fourth inning. Rubber game of that three-game set. Here's Torreyes. 1-0. Torreyes looks down at his spotter, see if anything is on.
And we know Judge doesn't run that much. And there's Chase Whitley. You were talking about him earlier, Michael. Coming back from Tommy John surgery. Judge doesn't run that much, but Torreyes, a perfect hit and run guy.
Tries to bunt and misses. 1-1.
Just trying to make something happen, get the ball on the ground. You never know.
Strike. 1-2. With 2 strikes, Longoria backs up at third. Grounded back to Andres. Goes to second. On to first. Not in time.
Looked like one of those double plays. You kind of get in an awkward position where you're throwing back as a pitcher, and you almost kind of, as a Yankee fan, hope that he launches this one. It gives him a good throw. Trey is just too quick getting down the line.
So Torreyes is at first. Here's Gardner. He doubled over the head of Franklin when Franklin was at left. Now it's Matuk. Franklin is at first after the injury to Morrison. Still no word on what the x-rays have shown. Left the game after he swung at a 2-1 pitch. Grabbed his left wrist and walked into the Rays clubhouse.
It was funny, Flash. I was watching the end of that play, and I saw the catcher as he was running down the line too. That has got to be, people don't realize, getting out of a squat and then following the hitter down the line. There's so much going on that you have to do with your legs as a catcher throughout the game.
One of the worst parts of foul balls and all that stuff obviously leave a mark, but you know what you learn as you become a little bit older? You kind of pick your spots to really bust it down there. Because like that right there, when you know you got a good feed to Forsythe, and it's probably going to be an accurate throw, you can kind of cruise at about 70%.
But you got to be on your way. Yeah. You can't forget about it.
If you think about it, John, you run down there so many times, and how many times is actually necessary?
You just can't get exposed that obviously you weren't paying attention. And right there, it looked like it was going to be a good throw. So Melee behind the plate. Melee can just cruise down there and make sure he's in the right position.
Did you ever have a manager who knew that your legs were hurting that day and said, listen, don't back up first?
Never.
No.
No.
Wow.
If your legs hurt that much, we'll get somebody else, kid.
Listen, the offensive part of my game wasn't what they had me in the lineup for, so I better be doing the defensive things. If you're a guy like Piazza, Jorge Posada, who's still busting it down there every time.
Runner goes. Popped up. Longoria can't get there. It's on the roof of the Rays dugout.
Crawl down in that dugout. Torreyes in motion. You kind of thought he had a good jump. I don't know if it was a straight steal or if we had the hit and run on.
Bottom of the fifth. Rays 2, Yankees 1. Runner goes. Pitch is high. Throw to second. Got him. And Torreyes says, I'm safe.
Well, every once in a while, as a catcher, you get that perfect pitch to throw on. Flash, this is almost like a pitch out. We'll see what Torreyes is talking about.
You see Joe Girardi shake his head at Torreyes. No, we're not challenging.
It was close, pretty hard to overturn though, because it looked like his hand did get around the glove.
Word on Logan Morrison, left wrist strain. 3-2 count on Gardner. And Andriese deals. Line drive, a base hit to right field. Gardner's second hit of the afternoon. A double last time up.
He's got that good approach going now. He drove one the other way for the double, and this was an off-speed pitch. He's able to stay in the strike zone with the bat head for a long time. Because of that, he just drives it right into right field. Nice piece of hitting. Great look at it there from the side.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
This reminds me the other day, Michael Pineda in the game, right? Needed one more out in the 5th inning to be in line for a win. Joe Girardi said, I'm not concerned about that. Obviously, Kevin Cash in the Tampa Bay Rays, a different situation, doesn't really mean a whole lot. Breeze is going to get a chance to finish off the 5th inning.
Looks like he will. Popped up, shallow left. And the catch is made by Machuk for the final out. But the Yankees get on the board. 1 run, the home run by Headley. 3 hits, 1 man left. One beautiful ceremony by the Yankees before the game. 15 years ago on this date, the terrorist attacks on our nation. We remember those who lost their lives, the brave men and women, the first responders. And we shall never forget what happened that day and never forget the people that lost their lives. So as we start the 6th, a ball to Logan Forsythe, top of the order against Luis Cessa. It was on this date in 2002 that Whitey Ford and Thor was due to help dedicate that plaque out in Monument Park to those that lost their lives in the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Forsythe hits that one out. That is a long home run for Forsythe, and it's 3-1 Tampa Bay.
Oh, we watch Forsythe now for 4 games in this series, his 19th home run of the year. Well, there's a lot to like about how he plays the game, plays it hard, plays it the right way, gives you quality at bats and plenty of power right there.
kind of talking about the first at bat of the game, how he sees a lot of pitches, fouls off a lot of pitches. This ball just tails back over to the middle of the plate, right to the middle of the barrel.
Kiermaier goes the other way. Gardner on the run and makes a nice play for the first out. Kiermaier is 0 for 3 and has a 13-game hitting streak working. Severino's up alongside Lane. Paul, you know what happened 31 years ago today? 31 years ago today.
September 11th, 31 years ago.
1985.
No, because Ellsbury's 33, so it wasn't them.
Why don't you
Now, you know what? Now look at this. I just got called up. You want to see something funny? Let's see if they'll show it. This was Pete Rose's hit. So everybody collects around the bases, right?
Right.
All the guys that have been with him. Well, there's this 6'4" guy with an afro that really doesn't know anybody on the team yet, but I got to be out there. So I'm kind of like circling the pack because I don't know where else to go. There he is.
Is that you?
Hey, congratulations, Pete, my best buddy. What a cool night, though.
That was hit 41-92 to pass Ty Cobb.
Yeah, I remember how exciting of a day that was in Cincinnati.
I mean, you were 22 years old.
I was just thinking, growing up, there was Pete Rose like the man, your idol.
It was the whole Big Red Machine, and he was kind of the, the main part of it. And it's just, growing up in the Midwest in the 70s, everybody was Reds fans.
Longoria grounds out. Like the accidental tourist there.
You're telling me. Yeah.
Now, did you get anything signed that day?
I do have some balls and some bats signed by Pete Rose because he did continue to manage and things like that. But right when you're called up, I mean, what are you going to say to like Pete Rose? He's getting ready to break the all-time hit record. It's not like walk in the office and ask for anything.
Stay out of the way.
Yeah. Other than thank you for calling me up, sir.
You need a cup of coffee or anything?
Anything.
Right. Yeah.
But you do sit, and I'll never forget to sitting in the locker room and watching Pete Rose, Concepcion, Perez, just how they went about their business every single day.
Deep fly ball right field. Judge is back. See ya. A home run for Miller, the third home run served up by Sessa this afternoon. And it is now 4-1 Tampa Bay.
Brad Miller, you look at that 27th home run of the year. Joe Girardi hoping to go out here and make a change. But, Sessa's been pretty darn good. He's just given up some home runs. And
well, Joe Girardi decides to take the ball from Luis Sessa. He makes the Verizon call to the bullpen. Mikey Matuk's coming up, and the Yankees are trailing this one 4-1. By Delta, we fly to 135 destinations from JFK and LaGuardia to get you where you're going. Delta, keep climbing. And by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees. So Luis Cessa is out and Luis Severino is in. He has been a different pitcher working out of the bullpen. You see the 9 starts, and they were not good. He started the season with the team, then was sent down because of ineffectiveness, then went on the DL, and he's pitched very well out of the bullpen. So the Yankees now are looking at a 3-run deficit. They're down 4-1. Here's Mikey Matuk. He swings and misses, 97 miles an hour.
So disappointing for Cessa. He only gave up 5 hits, 3 of them home runs. Yankees have some work to do this afternoon. Severino trying to keep it right here.
0-2. Five 2/3. 5 hits, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 5. Strike 3. Easy as 1, 2, 3 for Severino, who thinks that that was the second out, but it was the third out. As we go to the bottom of the 6th, it's 4-1 Tampa Bay. WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show. Get a recap of this wild week in the Bronx as the Yankees chase a postseason spot. Plus, Joe looks ahead to their series with the LA Dodgers. Catch a new episode today after the postgame only on Yes. This is a big moment for Chase Whitley. It's his first big league appearance since May 14th of 2015. He was with the Yankees. That was at Tampa Bay. Left the game in the 2nd inning with elbow pain. And he had Tommy John surgery 5 days later, performed by Yankees team physician Christopher Amon. So good numbers in the minors, and now back on a major league mound against his old team.
It's got to feel pretty special for him. Obviously, the long road back, rehab, Tommy John surgery. Good numbers in the minor leagues. Now you finally made it back to the big leagues. Your first Rays appearance. By the way, you're facing Gary Sanchez.
And your first pitch is a strike at 90 miles an hour. 4-1 Tampa Bay over the Yanks. Oh, 2. Long foul ball. Well, this was their plan to kind of split the game between Andriese and Whitley. We mentioned they have a 6-man rotation because they just plugged Alex Cobb in and did not remove anybody. And they want to get a look at Whitley as well. So this is the way to do it, 6-man rotation and split one of the starts between 2 of the guys. Fouled away.
Those days, if you're the Yankees, that you hope that the guy coming out of the pen doesn't have the good stuff as a starter. Andriese was very good. Pitched ahead.
Kind of came out of nowhere. His last 5 or 6 starts have been terrible.
You look at opportunities, there have not been a lot.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Sanchez down on strikes.
That's that changeup, which has always been Whitley's good pitch. Look on Yes Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Kind of a split grip. I'm thinking about it from Tampa Bay's perspective, though. You sign a guy knowing you're going to have to rehab him from Tommy John surgery, and this is really the first look at maybe if you're going to be rewarded with doing that. Be a nice find.
Grounded to first. It's a fair ball. Nice play by Franklin. And he flips to Whitley. 2 outs. Crazy game in Toronto, everybody. As now Toronto leads Boston 8-7, top of the 5th. So more than half the game to go. Baltimore 3-0 over Detroit, bottom of the 5th. Kansas City 1, White Sox 0, bottom of the 3rd. Still to start. Seattle at Oakland and Cubs at the Astros. You know, John Rogel of the Hardball Times has done a lot of great research on Tommy John surgeries. This year, 2016, 27.4% of Major League pitchers have had Tommy John surgery.
Wow.
Teixeira with a high fly ball to right. Souza is there. And the Yankees are down in order against Whitley. 1-2-3. We're going to the 7th in the Bronx. 4-1 Tampa Bay. USAA honors those who have served and all of our service members at home and abroad. We go to the 7th inning. Franklin leads off. GMT scoreboard 4-1 Tampa Bay. (2-0) from Severino. Severino came on, struck out Machuk looking for the final out of the 6th. Strike.
You know, you wonder what Severino is going to be. Obviously, he threw a lot of pitches against Toronto, so he had a few days off. But is he going to be a guy that comes in for a couple innings and then you lose for a couple days, or is he going to be a guy that you can use a couple days and then he needs a couple days off? So, you know, you're kind of in a gamble situation here. He's been one of your premier guys out of the bullpen. Down 4-1. You know, you're Joe Girardi. You're hoping that this offense can get back into this game without wasting one of your better pitchers out of the bullpen.
Swing and a miss.
He's got life on that fastball, huh, Flash?
But why is it so different? As a starting pitcher, I mean, the fastball was getting turned around. Is it just, I'm going to let it fly and be super aggressive and not worry about getting through a lineup a few times?
The ball doesn't look flat anymore. I mean, there's life to it, and it kind of hops. You can see where, you know, there were times before in fastball situations it registered 96, 97, but it was just getting hammered. Now it's you know, it's getting by the bat. And there's late movement on it, and you just don't know what the difference is.
Lined into center field and hangs up there for Ellsbury, who had to battle the sun to make the play for the first out.
Well, that's a tough play because it kind of gets right in front of you. You can't get to either side of it, and it kind of handcuffs you. You see this play, and yes, Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer, and as a center fielder, the only buddy playing behind you is a center field wall if it gets by you.
Here's Dickerson. He got a 2-run home run in the 2nd inning.
Remember, the Yankees sent Severino down because they wanted him to work on his changeup. I think that's gone out the window now. Now it's let's go fastball slider and finish the year strong. Try to get into the playoffs and worry about the changeup in the offseason and coming into next year. And right when I say that, he throws one.
And Dickerson punches it to left field. He's going to go for 2. The throw from Gardner, not in time. So Dickerson's had a very good series. That's his 6th hit in 9 at-bats against the Yanks. Difference between Severino as a starter and a reliever: 0-8 this year in 9 starts, 8.58. 2-0 as a reliever in 6 relief appearances with a 0 ERA. Opponents hit .044 against him out of the pen, .340 as a starter. Can't be that disparate, but it is. Here's Steven Souza Jr. And he bunts down the third base line. It's going to be a hit. So a base hit for Souza, moving Dickerson to third.
Well, it surprises everybody. Souza has plenty of power with his 16 home runs. Chase Headley playing back is perfectly executed. Severino now has to earn it. 1st and 3rd, 1 out.
So here's Luke Maile now. 2 ground balls. He'll take another one and turn it into a double play. And he tries to bunt. That was a safety squeeze.
People around Tampa Bay have been talking about this play for 3 days. Joe Madden, when he used to manage the Tampa Bay Rays, would always do this first and third kind of safety squeeze. Tough to defend. Kevin Cash has brought it back a little bit the last couple of weeks. Backup player for Joe Torre. I love that little safety squeeze with a runner at third base. You don't have to get it down. Get a pitch that you can't bunt. You have a little flexibility. You bunt it right towards first base. It's an easy RBI.
1-1. Tampa Bay over the Yankees. We're in the top of the 7th. Another bunt, and this one's foul back. 1-2.
Good pitch to do it too. Obviously the fastball at 97, but it was middle of the plate, maybe elevated just a little bit. Yeah, that was the problem. It was rising as it came in towards the plate. Tough to get it down. You can see what Kevin Cash is thinking with his backup catcher. Give him an opportunity to get a bunt down RBI and tack on.
This is where you want to be if you're Severino in this position. You've got 2 strikes. An opportunity to get that big strikeout or keep that ball on the ground.
And down goes Maley, and a pretty unproductive at bat for the second out.
Yeah, didn't mess around with the slider, just threw a fastball right by him. Got that big strikeout with a man on third. I said it yesterday. I think Severino, this is the way he wants to pitch, and I don't know if he can translate this into a starter, but just being able to throw the ball by people, I think it fits much more for the bullpen at this point. You know, good slider and just being able to throw that fastball by people. No Flash. You even mess with the breaking ball here. I mean, that was 98.
I was just thinking, if you're Gary Sanchez behind the plate, we've talked about foresight and what a good job he's done on the slider. Some good ones down and away. I don't even know, maybe throw one off the plate and come back with the fastball, or maybe just go right with number 1.
Runner goes, and a stolen base for Souza. Pitch was high.
Severino wasn't even paying attention right there. Souza had just an unbelievable jump. No play at second base. Toughest pitch to get on top of, that elevated fastball at about 98. If you're Severino, you're thinking maybe get foresight to chase up out of the zone.
Nice block there by Sanchez. That saves a run.
Just does so many things behind the plate that you shake your head and say this is well beyond his years. Nasty slider down, runner at third in a tight game, and that was just textbook by Sanchez.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on, second and third. Top of the 7th inning. Rays 4 and the Yankees 1. Severino on a relief of Sessa. The 2-2. Still 2-2. Just missed with the breaking ball, 3-2. What do you throw here, John? Fastball or the slider?
I think he's felt good about his fastball. 3-2 slider, if it's executed, probably going to get a swing and a miss, but it seems like he's got a better idea with his fastball right now.
You got to remember, you got first base open, so whatever it is, you know, you're still aiming for the corners here. You're not going to give in and give something out over the plate.
3-2. Late. Fouled it off.
I mean, Forsythe has got to drive you crazy as a pitcher. I mean, that right there is just an emergency swing. I'm beat. I'm going to foul this pitch off until I get another. Back there catching Flash, you're thinking to yourself, you've got no business fouling that ball off from that approach.
It just makes you overthink about things now. Now you get a little confused.
Three-2. He walked him. 99-mile-an-hour fastball. So the bases are loaded for the Rays. And that'll bring up Kiermaier.
Really not a bad walk right there. Forsythe swinging the bat well. Seemed to all of a sudden be on Severino more so than he was early in the count.
He's thrown 22 pitches this inning. Kiermaier is 0 for 3 this afternoon. And the pitch. Fouled off. James Pazos is up in the pen. I guess if it gets to Miller. The 0-1. Popped up. Headley in foul territory. Makes the play. And Severino works out of trouble. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and the bases are left loaded. At the end of 6.5 innings of play, it's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Rays lead the Yankees 4-1, but on this very special day in our country's history, we will stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and remove your caps? And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate as the New York Yankees welcome an honored military guest who is joined today by his family. United States Air Force Sergeant Dale Catlett from Chester, New York, who served in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom, and is a firefighter for the FDNY. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the microphone behind home plate and welcome back FDNY firefighter Frank Pizarro. He will now sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
So running out of innings as they try to keep their winning streak alive. It's at 7 games and trying to sweep this 4-game set. Here's Didi. And Whitley deals a strike. Gregorius now hitless in his last 13 at-bats and 3 for his last 25 as the average has dipped to 274. One and two.
And Flash had changeup, a lot of movement, a lot of arm speed. Ball just doesn't quite get there.
That one a little bit high, 2 and 2. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Gregorius down on strikes, and we go back to Bob Lorenz. Bob? Well, Toronto, if it holds on, will tie the Red Sox for first place in the East. Right now they hold the first wild card. Orioles the second. Yankees 3 back in the race in the East and just 1 back in the wild card.
That's the type of game they call down to the bullpens in Toronto, and you got guys running to the bathroom. Don't bring me in this game. Everybody's hitting home runs.
Guys lining up at the bat rack. They can't wait to get up there.
Strike to Headley. Headley's the Yankees' only offense today as that home run leading off the 5th. Since May 1st, Headley hitting .275, .342 on base percentage, .444 slugging. And his average right now is at .257. Major league average of a player is .256. Headley's got a .330 on base percentage. Major league average is .322. So after an awful start, he's really pulled himself back up, and he's worked the count to 3-2. And he walked him. So Headley works a walk with 1 out here in the 7th inning.
If you're Joe Girardi offensively, this game's going really quick. All of a sudden you look up, you know, you're bottom of the 7th and you're having trouble obviously plating runs. Just got to hope one of these young kids can get a hold of one, immediately put you back in the game.
Foul the bat.
Three at bats, 3 first pitch fastballs, and 3 aggressive swings from Judge. Hasn't centered one yet, but I kind of like the attitude adjustment. A little bit more aggressive this afternoon.
Did he go? Yep. 0-2 on Judge. Judge is 1 for 2, struck out and then singled through the shift. Hard line drive through the left side. Oh, he went around. One and 2. Two and 2. Chase Whitley in his first game back since Tommy John surgery. On in relief of Matt Andriese, who pitched well over 5. Grounded, foul outside of third. Choo-choo. High pop-up, and I mean high. And Forsythe makes the catch for the second out. Well, Torreyes is due up, but they're going to send up a pinch hitter. And it's going to be Starlin Castro. Castro given a day off, and Joe Girardi said he's played a lot and he's played as much and more than anybody. He said, I want him ready to play the next 7 games because the Yankees play every day this upcoming week, and they don't have a day off till next Monday. That's their only day off the rest of the year, a week from tomorrow. And that's between the Boston and the Tampa Bay series. Castro grounds one, and off the glove of Longoria, and he'll reach. So that's an E5 on Longoria, and that allows Gardner to come up as a tying run.
Well, they always say you can't give a good team an extra out because they'll take advantage of it. Evan Longoria, one of the best third basemen in all of baseball. Looks like the ball just came up on him, ate him up a little bit on Yesmo. We get another great look at it right off the heel of the glove. He's catch a little bit of a break here, extending the inning. Brett Gardner an opportunity to take advantage.
So Gardner is 2 for 3 with a double and a single today. That one is looped into right field. That is going to dunk in for a base hit. Headley will score. Moving to third is Castro. He gets there. It's a single for Gardner, his 3rd hit of the day, and the Yankees now trail 4-2.
How did he get back in it? The first really big hit for the Yankees today. Brett Gardner, his 3rd hit for the day. It keeps the inning going. Little fastball. Stays with it off the end of the bat. That doesn't come off of it. Just got enough, just a little enough to get it in front of right field.
Boy, Paul, did you find it unusual that Souza would be playing that deep in right field? I mean, you're guarding against a home run. Yeah,
I mean, late in the game, you know, you do play no doubles, but in Yankee Stadium, really, there's no need for it in right field.
And look at him. Like 5 feet in front of the warning track.
That's a break that the Yankees got to take advantage of. And, you know, Flash, you talked about Longoria being one of the better third basemen. You get a break there, another break here. I mean, now you've got an opportunity, if you're Ellsbury, to just keep this thing going.
I've been a part of a lot of bad Tampa Bay teams. When you make an error like that, the first thing that pops in your head, uh-oh.
Here we go again, huh?
Seen this before.
You get the feeling if you're with the Yankees right now, I take myself back, if we can tie this game, we'll win this game. And you just got to get to that point.
Runner goes. Throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base for Gardner.
I tell you, we've been just wanting and begging him to go. And in a big situation, Brett Gardner goes. Now you're a base hit from tying this game up. Great jump.
You love the stolen base, but you love the fact that he went on the first pitch. Haven't seen that in a long time from Brett Gardner.
First stolen base since July 17th. So now a single could tie the game. That one is looped to right field. Matuk makes the play, and that'll do it. But the Yankees inch closer. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 big error, and 2 men left on base. We go to the 8th. 4-2 Rays. By Fios. Fios is not cable. We're wired differently. Visit getfios.com. Jose De Leon gets start for the Dodgers, and for the Yankees, coming off a really strong first start, Brian Mitchell. And our coverage is going to begin at 6 p.m. on the YES Network. Monday night, Tuesday night against the Dodgers, and a 4 o'clock start on Wednesday. Longoria swings and misses. Starlin Castro takes over at second. So the Yankees get an unearned run in the 7th to just creep a bit closer. They had an opportunity to tie it, but Ellsbury with a short fly ball to left. Now, you brought up a good point before, Paul. The Yankees, and you see the Hyundai scoreboard, 4-2 Tampa Bay, they're choosing to use Severino once every 4 days rather than having be a weapon 2 out of every 4 days or something like that, 3 out of 5, because if you're going to have him go, this full inning, not going to be available again for 3 more days. Pop up, and Castro makes the play to retire Longoria. I just think that he could be a real valuable weapon.
Don't you think they have to be concerned that he's been a starting pitcher?
Yeah.
Right? So how is he going to bounce back day after day, or 3 out of 4? He just hasn't done it. You got to protect an asset too.
Yeah, and he's been so good out of the pen, and if he can give you 3 innings every 3 days, and it comes in games where you could really use him, you come back and win this game, and he keeps them where they are.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And the game that he was in against Toronto, huge. I mean, those are big appearances.
Okay, but then on the flip side, if you don't come back and win this game,
yeah, you've lost it. So it is a gamble.
Yeah.
It is a gamble if you're Joe Girardi, in my opinion.
Getting loose now. He's letting it fly.
Severino wanted that, so did Sanchez. Swing and a miss, waved at that one.
Well, that's a 3-2 slider when you're looking 3-2 fastball right there. Good pitch selection. Severino and Sanchez. Miller just not ready for a breaking ball.
Good pitch selection and location. I mean, you can't do anything with that down and away. It's beautiful. I don't think you put that swing on the highlight reel in the offseason when you got to get ready for a year.
Kind of a helpless feeling when you're just sitting so much fastball. Just fooled.
One and one on Letuk. Fly ball, left field. Going back, Gardner still back. And he'll make the play right on the lip of the track for the final out of the 8th inning. As Severino retires, Tampa Bay in order. We go to the bottom of the 8th, Yankees down by 2. Scoreboard, Tampa Bay 4 and New York 2. Yankees trying to extend their winning streak to 8 straight. Right now a season high 7 straight. Also continue to gain ground in the American League East and in the wild card. Brad Boxberger takes over. This will be his 18th game. You see his numbers. Way too many walks, 12 walks in 16 innings, so the Yankees certainly have to take note of that and be patient.
That wasn't even a perhaps. You've been going perhaps a few too many walks. That's just dead on, right?
12 walks in 16 innings. I think you can take the perhaps out. So the heart of the Yankee order, Sanchez, McCann, and Teixeira.
But if the Yankees, if you're with the Yankees, you got to realize how you put yourself in position last inning, and you were 1 hit away from tying up the game, and it was just by, you know, kind of nickel and diamond guys. Base hit here, base hit there, a break there. It's not always about, you know, loading up and trying to hit everybody, trying to hit home runs. You know, get things going, put some pressure on the Tampa Bay Rays. They're used to losing, Flash. You pointed that out many times.
I'm sure there's a lot of thoughts going through a lot of minds out there. How are we going to lose this one? Because we've seen it before. And it all starts with Boxberger. This guy had 41 saves last year, but a different pitcher this year.
Boston has retaken the lead in Toronto. It's 10-8, top of the 6th. A lot of baseball still to go.
The relievers don't want that phone to ring down there.
They take it off the hook.
Yeah.
There's a strike, 1-2. Baltimore leads Detroit 3-1, top of the 7th inning. 2-2.
Mentioned Boxberger with those 41 saves last year, led the American League. He had core muscle surgery, missed the start of the year, came back May 31st, hurt his oblique in the first game back, and didn't come back until July 31st. So nightmare of a season.
Driven to left field and deep. And Matuk makes the play. Boy, he really hit that hard.
They hit it hard, just didn't elevate it enough. Good bat, good swing. It's had top spin on it, brings it down. I get sick of looking at him hit. I tell you what, when he's got it all together, it's just a lot of power and a short path to the ball.
They say short to and long through. That's what I see when his swing goes through strike zone. Boy, it's pretty.
The 0-1. Grounded foul. And the pitch. Fouled away. Crowd of 33,087 here on a Sunday afternoon in New York City. Dodgers in town next. Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday at 4. And after that, the Yankees leave on an 11-game road trip. Final road trip of the regular season. Now, you mentioned in our open, Paul, you got to keep taking care of business here because the power kind of shifts to the home team. And you're playing contenders other than Tampa Bay. So you have 4 games in Boston, 3 games in St. Pete, and then 4 games in Toronto. That is a tough road trip. Swing and a miss. Down goes McCann. And then the Yankees will finish up the season in New York, series against the Red Sox and the Orioles. Here's Teixeira. And a strike. Teixeira 0 for 3. Fly ball to left, 2 fly balls to right. Ground ball right side. And that will do it as the Yankees go down in order against Boxberger. We'll go to the 9th. And the Yankees are trailing this one 4-2, and they'll bring in their left-hander Tommy Lane to start the ninth. '53rd game for Lane. He's had a good year, and he's pitched particularly well since Red Sox let him go. Yankees picked him up, got themselves a fairly veteran left-hander who knows what he's doing. And he's going to face Nick Franklin. Franklin pesky today, 2 for 3. Grounded and threw for a base hit, so he's 3 for 4. Hard grounder past Didi.
Bringing the lefty, move him over to the right side of the plate. It doesn't matter. First pitch swinging, having a nice afternoon.
There's Corey Dickerson. Dickerson, 2 for 3. 2-run home run and a double. Grounded into a fielder's choice. Number 7 hitter, the DH. Swing and a miss. Playing catch with Teixeira.
Is the catcher mixed up?
Yeah, I think so. Alex Colomé will try to close it out for the Rays in the bottom of the ninth. Swing and a miss. 1-2. There he is. Looped into center field. Going to be a tough play. It's going to dunk in for a base hit. So a broken back single for Dickerson. And the Rays have runners on first and second and nobody out. And Girardi will go to the bullpen. So Franklin singles, Dickerson singles. Now Steven Souza Jr. due up. So Girardi will go to a right-hander. Lane's day is done. Yankees trying to keep it right here at 4-2. out for the W.B. Mason postgame on Yes. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry are back in the studio with highlights and analysis from today's contest with the Rays. Plus, get the reaction from the clubhouse with Meredith Morakovitz. It's all coming up. It's only on Yes. So now, Blake Parker takes over. He's had some high wire acts for the Yankees, but has survived them. Might have gotten some of the biggest outs of the season when he came in for Betances with the bases loaded and 1 out against Toronto. And he will face Steven Souza Jr. Last time up, Souza bunted. Yankees are expecting a bunt again. I don't know why they bunt. They're up 4-2. Guy has 16 homers. They don't. 1-0. There's a strike. Good fastball on the outside corner, 1-1. One and two. First and second. Nobody out. 9th inning, 4-2 Rays. Parker on in relief of Lane. 1-2 pitch. Just missed.
Good try right there from Parker. Obviously, you're going for the strikeout here. Tried to freeze Souza Jr. on the outside corner just off the plate. First and second, nobody out. Got to get a strikeout here or a ground ball.
Fly ball. And Ellsbury makes the catch. Looked like Gardner was really battling the sun to find that one.
Yeah, a lot of times the angle of the outfielder helps you a lot. I mean, Gardner will scream and scream, lost it, and it'll make an easier play for Ellsbury because he's coming at a different angle. Souza Jr. way out in front of that, so it was not deep enough. Big out.
There's Luke Maile, who is 0 for 3. A couple of ground balls are short and a strikeout. Goes off speed and drops it in there for a strike. 77 miles an hour. Red Sox now lead Toronto 11-8, top of the 7th. And Baltimore over Detroit 3-1, bottom of the 7th. And the 0-1. Popped up. Sanchez tosses away the helmet. And puts it away for the second out.
Well, so far so good for Parker. He's made a couple good pitches. Got the 2 big outs. You just cannot relax.
Buddy. Here's our buddy.
Yeah.
Logan Forsythe.
Seems to give you a good at bat every time, and you get the feeling with a 2-run lead. Obviously, a big hit by Forsythe would make it a whole lot tougher in the bottom half of the 9th.
Outside, Forsythe is 1 for 3. The 1 a home run, his 19th of the year in the 5th inning. And that was the black mark on Sessa's performance in this game. He pitched well, went 5 1/3, but he allowed 3 home runs, and that has been a bit of a bugaboo for him. Got to keep the ball in the yard more. 2 solos and 1 2-run home run. And there's the scoring. Yankee bullpen has done what it has done of late. Keeping it right there. And Sanchez wants to talk with Parker. Last 11 games, Yankee bullpen 6-0, pitching to a 2.70 ERA. Opponents hitting 184 against them, and striking out more than a strikeout per 9, or a strikeout per inning. So 9.8 per 9.
Yeah, pretty impressive numbers. Obviously, when you go through 7-game win streak, you can find some things that have really helped you. So far, starting pitching and the bullpen, very good.
Swing and a miss. 1-2.
All of a sudden, you start to see those shadows coming into effect. Good breaking ball there. This is where Forsythe's at bat usually starts with 2 strikes, and he starts battling. Parker went for that fastball, tried to just dot that outside corner. It's twice in this inning he's missed.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Pitch. 3-2. So the runners will be going.
What they say, a greatest compliment to give a hitter, as you see Kiermaier on deck, is that he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. You watch Forsythe, it's like no big deal. You don't see any stress in his body language or his facial expressions. Work the count back to full.
Franklin at second, Dickerson is at first. They'll both be going 3-2 and 2 outs. And the pitch. Rolling up the first baseline. Very smart play by Sanchez.
Looked like a top. I have never seen that. It's still spinning.
Sanchez wanted to roll back into fair territory because he knew that Forsythe wasn't running.
Must have been cued off the end of the bat, because I mean, you do see spin on a ball, but this is sideways spin like a top.
Tearing up the dirt.
Danny Cunningham's going to have to go out there and patch up the first baseline. See Sanchez look back. See Forsythe didn't run. See, he'll let that thing just spin as long as it can. Might catch a stone and shoot out on the field.
Runners will go again. And the 3-2. Strike 3. Forsythe down looking. Great job by Parker. Ray Strand 2. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Do the Yankees have a rally in their bones? The Brooklyn Nets begin the 2016-17 season with a new head coach, promising new young players and a new attitude. Don't miss the excitement of the Nets on Yes, returning this October. Right now, it's the excitement of the Yankees, and their 7-game winning streak is on the line as we go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Can they come back? The 7 games that they've won, season high, and they'll have to come back against Alex Colomé, who's put together a real good season, John.
Yeah, 31 saves and 33 opportunities. 15 walks and 48 in the 3rd innings. Obviously, in this situation, down by a couple of runs, Didi Gregorius, your job, try to fight your way on any way you can. You have not been swinging the bat great lately.
Guys, are the shadows at a point where it is a factor?
Anytime, and it's going to only get worse through this inning. About halfway there is really the worst time, because you kind of lose the ball halfway there.
1-1. And the 1-1. 2-1. The ball from Sun.
Spin, and then all of a sudden it goes dark on you. And it's really tough to pick up the pitch.
2-1. 2-2. Gregorius calls time. It'll be Didi, Headley, and Judge here in the bottom of the ninth. Colomé deals a 2-2. Boston 11, Toronto 8, bottom of the 7th. Baltimore 3, Detroit 1, top of the 8th.
Good swing by Didi right there. Looked a little shorter to me, just trying to make sure he's protecting, put the ball in play. Headley's been swinging the bat well behind him. Just try to fight your way on any way you can.
Swing and a miss, and Gregorius down on strikes. He is 0 for his last 15 with an 0 for 4 today. Here's Headley. A home run in the 5th. He walked and scored in the 7th. And hit one off of Andres in the 2nd that resulted in an out.
It's all about setting the table, no matter who you are now. You got to realize we need a runner just to get that tying run to the plate. Whether it's a walk, whether it's a hit the other way, any way.
Got the shift on Headley, and they're pitching him away. A lot of room for the left side. We're talking about getting that base hit, just getting on base. Maybe even a possibility of a bunt. Although Longoria playing kind of in a little bit.
See Chase Headley taking all the way there. Colomé throws strikes.
Two, 1, 2 and 2.
Colomé, good arms. 96. The fastball and the shadows adds a little bit more to it.
And the 2-2. Strike 3. Headley down looking. And Headley has some words for Whitson.
A little tough. You'd have to see it from the overhead. And we'll see. A little backdoor slider. Pretty close.
Yeah,
nasty pitch.
Now here is Aaron Judge as the Yankees are down to their final out. Shift on for Judge. 3 infielders on the left side. Colomé deals. 97 off the corner. One and one. One and two, and now the Yankees are down to their final strike. Judge 1 for 3 today. And the pitch. 2 and 2.
Looks like the book is get ahead of Judge and then nothing but breaking balls in the dirt afterwards. He's really going to have to work on hitting early in the count, putting the ball in play.
And the pitch. 3 and 2 with Castro on deck. The Yankee rookie right fielder at the plate with a full count. The Rays closer on the mound. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. The Yankees down by 2. The pitch. Fly ball, deep left center field. Giving chase is Kiermaier, and he's there and makes the play for the final out of the game. And the Yankees have their 7-game winning